En gang. Se på alle de krigerne. Slipp. Slipp sånn. Jo, den fungerer. Den fungerer. Man holder. Hold den her. Sier jeg, hold den. Ja. Hold den. Han her. Dere. Er nærme nok? Er nærme nok? Litt nærmere. Hallo. Det er bra. Sånn? Det er bra. Hallo. Sånn? Vi bare... Skjelver på hva? Jeg vet ikke. Det her er... Yes. ærlig, de her bare Hallo. Hallo. Bare sånn her, ting. Bare si, can everyone please sit down? Hallo? Hallo? Hvis alle sammen bare kan sette seg ned, sånn at vi får startet. English, da. Jeg føler jeg ser så seriøs ut. Ok, jeg starter. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the IEC Norway Youth Seminar of 2025. We're thrilled to have you here in the heart of Oslo. Feel free to grab coffee or tea and mingle, and we will get settled in soon.
Today's theme is powerful: action to end social control. We'll hear from inspiring voices, engage in cultural performances, and build a connection that matters. Let's make today a day to remember.
To officially open our seminar, we are honored to welcome Her Excellency Mai Babakir, Deputy Head of Mission of the Embassy of the Republic of Sudan. Please join us in giving her a warm applause.
Good evening, distinguished audience, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to join you today for the very important seminar, Action to End Social Control. But let me first begin by extend gratitude and thanks for the organizers for bringing us together today to address an issue which lies in the very heart of the social component of the families and very hard social cohesion, integration, and the well-being of our future generations. Let me quote Alex Haley from his famous book Roots, where he noted that in any confeasible manner, the family is the link for our past and the bridge for our future. This reminds us that the supporting people begins with strong, connected families. The family is not only the first place of care and protection, but also an irreplaceable guardian for the cultural values and traditions. Supporting the younger generations must therefore go hand in hand with preserving the positive traditions of our countries of origin, for these values can anchor us when we are engaging with new environments. This brings us to the sensitive yet essential question before us. How do we protect young people from harmful forms of social control while also recognizing and preserving the positive role of the family? For many migrant families, adjusting to new environments and different social norms can be challenging. Parents may at times feel their traditional role is being undermined, while young people can struggle to reconcile cultural expectations with their own aspirations. If not carefully addressed, this tension can lead to mistrust, misunderstanding, and conflict. This is why today's theme is so timely. It calls on us to seek a delicate balance, safeguarding children and youth from coercion, abuse, and harmful practices, while ensuring that families remain a source of guidance, emotional support, and stability. A balanced approach strengthens both sides. When families are empowered with knowledge and supported by society, they are better equipped to nurture their children within the framework of the law. When young people are heard and respected, they gain the trust and confidence to thrive as active members in the society. Together, this builds stronger families, healthier communities, and a more inclusive nation. I am convinced that today's discussions will not only shed light on these challenges, but will also inspire practical pathways forward. Our solutions must be rooted in dialogue, understanding, and mutual respect. Respect for the right of child, respect for the vital role of the families, and respect for the traditions that shape our identities across generations. In closing, let me be clear. This is not about weakening families, nor about tolerating traditions imposed by force. It's about building trust, fostering harmony, and ensuring that every young person has the opportunity to grow in dignity, safety, and hope, while staying connected to the cultural heritage that binds us to our past and guides us towards our future. Before concluding, allow me on this occasion to ask for your prayers and support for the youth of my beloved country, together with families and children under siege by the terrorist rapid support forces militias in Al-Fashir. I pay tribute to the youth across Sudan who stand at the front lines, some making the ultimate sacrifice to defend our homeland's dignity and sovereignty. I also honor those leading the rebuilding efforts, restoring our universities, hospitals, markets, and public spaces that were left in ruins as a result of a very devastating war imposed on Sudan by militias. Finally, I call upon you as well to keep in your prayers and extend your solidarity to the youth of Gaza, along with its children and families, as they endure blockade and inhuman conditions. Thank you. I look forward to the fruitful exchange to come, et je vous souhaite tout le monde une bonne soirée. Thank you.
We forgot the most important thing to present ourselves. I'm Sira Sane, and this is
Bijete. And up next, we'll welcome Bako Sila, who will speak on the core of today's theme. That's not working, Ferdy.
Have you ever felt someone else is deciding who you should be, what you should wear, or who you can spend your time with? For many young people here in Norway today, this is a daily reality. It's called social control, and it takes away something that belongs in all of us, our freedom. Social control happens when people around us, our family, friends, or our community try to control our choices and limit our independence. But when not all control is bad. Rules keeps us safe, like traffic laws, are good. But when control becomes a way to shame or restrict somebody for who they are, silence them in a negative way, is negative social control. It can decide what you wear, who you talk to, which career you choose, even who you are allowed to love. The reality of the Norwegian youth. You might think this doesn't happen here, in a free country like Norway, but it does. Some young people around are told they can't have certain friends, some are forced lives planned by others, and for many saying no feels impossible because the price can be rejection, even violence. Why is this a problem? Negative social control takes away freedom, the very foundation of equality and human rights. It damages mental health, causing stress, anxiety, and fear. It can destroy trust between parents and children, friends, and communities. No one should have to choose between their family and their future. How can we act to end it? We can't just talk about this. We need to take action. Let me share 3 steps that I made. A, acknowledge. See the problem. Don't ignore it, speak about it openly. Break the ice, break the silence. C, care. Be the friend who listens. Be the person someone can trust. Show empathy instead of judgment. T, take action. If you see someone under pressure, encourage them to seek help at school with a counselor or trusted adults. Support campaigns, speak up in class, and demand the leaders to protect every young person's rights to freedom. Freedom is not a privilege, it's a right. And no one should have to live fear of being themselves. So let's act together to end social control. Because when one of us lose our freedom, we all lose. Thank you.
That was a great speech. Thank you, Baka. Now we welcome Aki. He's the leader of OMOD, Organisasjonen mot offentlig diskriminering. Joining him are Adama Kani and Adama Ture from IAC Youth Seminar. Let's welcome them upstairs. Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon, and I thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to come and say a few words. My name is Akhenaten Almadi Odvar de Leon. Very seldom combination. Mother Norwegian, was father from Trinidad in the Caribbean. I was born in England in 1959, which that was many moons ago. And I came to Norway in 1979 as a young person. Interestingly enough, I understand that this is a particular Gambian attire, so I assume there are many Gambians here. Can I see who are Gambian descent? Wow, that was nearly 100%. When I first came here in 79, the largest African group in Norway were Gambians. Today, you're the smallest. The Somalians have taken over. So times change, and Norway has changed over the last 40, 50 years. And it's changed rapidly within the last 20, 25 years. But anyway, my presentation today is about social control but not within the family structure, but from the state. And my social control is about racial profiling. The young man spoke about freedom to choose, but you should also have freedom to walk about and move where you want to go without being stopped based on the color of your skin or whether you're 4 or 5 black young fellows together. That is also social control. And it can have very negative consequences, psychological consequences as well. Because there are quite a lot of young people, when they see a police vehicle, especially if you're from the wrong side of Oslo, they feel fear and anxiety. You know, they feel that, hey, I can be stopped. Anyway, so today, I want to say a few words about your rights. And I have to move between English and Norwegian, right? Let me just get some light here. I should have brought my glasses, you see, time goes. So anyway, what do you do or should do when you meet the police? This is very vital information, and it's perhaps more important for young black men than women. But we see a tendency today that young women of color are also being controlled at a street level. So this is just general information that can help you in certain situations. First, let me say that the police are here to help you. So this is not a lecture about criticizing the police. This is constructive criticism and information. The police are here to prevent crime. The police are supposed to behave in a professional manner. They are the ones being paid to do their job. And the police are supposed to be here for all citizens and people living in this country, and are supposed to treat them equally. This is the theoretical position when we speak about police, but reality sometimes is different. I would like to just visualize, this is how I looked when I first came to Norway in 1979. Now it's very interesting because they say appearance has a lot to say. Then I was Afro-Caribbean. Today, I'm an Arab. People believe maybe I'm from Libya or from Saudi or somewhere. And it's interesting, and not only that, but even African brothers and sisters look upon me as being different, because now I've lost that identity marker, which is the African hair. So these things are very interesting. But anyway, we have produced a little brochure like this that gives information. You can find it on our webpage, which is omo.no. You'll find it there. You could download it. But it's very vital information. So, okay, what do you do when the police stop you? And this is very important, especially for young people. Remain calm. Remember, and I'm sure you've heard this before in films, on the television, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. You have the right, you all can read that, but I will just recite some of this stuff. You have the right to an attorney. And if you don't have money to provide or pay for an attorney, the police or the state will provide an attorney for you. And that has to do with your salary. If you are earning a lot of money, you pay for yourself. If you cannot afford an attorney, they will issue you with a lawyer. Now remember this, please. Many times at the police station, if you're arrested, or whatever the case may be, and you say you can't afford a lawyer, they will then tell you, well, you can choose a lawyer from this list. Now, that is okay, but you don't have to choose that lawyer. What the state does is the state pays for a lawyer. So you can choose any lawyer you want. And my recommendation is do not choose a lawyer that the police has offered you. Okay? Have you ever heard about the piper? Okay, think about that. I won't say any more on that particular one. Anyway, if the police request ID, you're supposed to be able to identify yourself. You also have the right to ask the police officer for their service number. Right now, the police are supposed to have their service number very visible so that people can see and they don't come into these conversations, about, your name and so on. A police officer doesn't have to give you their name, but they have to give you their service number. At this particular point in time in the conversation, always try to remain calm. Don't raise your voice. It is best that you don't gesticulate. It is perceived at times by some as aggression, and then it escalates a situation. Hold on, sorry. Yes. If you're arrested and taken down to the police station, you don't have to say anything besides your name, as I said before, and you should have a lawyer present whenever you're being interrogated. That is very important to understand, that regardless of what the police officer may tell you, that if you speak now, it's best in your favor and so on and so forth, forget about that. It is best, if it's a criminal offense, that you have a lawyer present in your corner who can give you legal advice. Again, you're supposed to have a lawyer. If you're under 18, your parents should be informed immediately, or some adult who perhaps knows your family, friend, etc., who can be present under any kind of interrogation. I've heard, I just mentioned that with interrogation. These are your basic rights. What is perhaps the most important, as I keep saying, is to make sure and get a lawyer. Sometimes you may get a fine. A police officer may give you a fine. They said you have done X, Y, Z, and that it is better for you to accept the fine now instead of going to court. That may be true, but the thumb rule is you have 3 weeks, what they call betenkningstid. You have 3 weeks to think about whether you want to accept that fine, so you don't have to sign it immediately. But some people feel forced, especially under COVID. That was interesting because a lot of young people were stopped on the streets and they said that they weren't practicing social distancing and so on and so forth, and there were too many people together. And they got fines from the police, and the police told them that they should sign here and now. Many of them did. Those who didn't, many of them, the cases were dropped when they got to court. So I'm just saying these things. I just want to go a little further here. I mentioned that with the boot. Don't accept a boot. Think about it. Get legal advice, and your lawyer will advise you whether you should allow the case to go to court or not. Documentation. If something happens, it's very important that you document your side of the story. How do you do that? It's not always easy, all according to the circumstances. But it's important that you have witnesses, you have time, place, the car number of the police, etc., etc. That is very important when you're going to write a report on what actually happened. You are allowed to film a situation with the police. Does everybody in this room, are you aware that you have the right to film the police in their activities? Yes or no? In Norway. Many other countries as well. But the question is how it's used in court. We have a good example, which is George Floyd. If George Floyd's video, if that was not videoed, we would not have heard about George Floyd. As simple as that. No, none of us would have heard about George Floyd. He would have been a dead man, but we would not have heard about him. I want to go on to something that I consider to be important and within the social control context, as well as with the police. The way how the media actually, the way how the media actually portrays people of color. How many people here are from Holmlia? The east side of town. What, we only have Westkant folk? Sorry? Bara Westkant. When the controller died, Daro. Anyway, the media has a role in how they portray people and the narrative that they form and the picture that they create. And at times, you can think that there are some people who won't go to Holmlia if they're coming from Fredrikstad and so on, speak to ethnic Norwegians. They will tell you, you say Holmlia, they say, no, even Grönland. I know people who will not go down on Grönland. I don't know why they're afraid, because at Grönland, I'm just going to give you an idea. At Grönland, you have Grönland Politihuset, which is the largest police precinct in Norway. And then 1 kilometer away, you have Centrum Politi. So on that 1 mile stretch, not even a mile, sorry, a kilometer. On that 1 kilometer stretch, you have the 2 largest police stations in Oslo. So what are you supposed to be afraid of? If the police can't control crime in their own area, then we have a major problem. But Grönland isn't as dangerous as it's portrayed. It's the question of black people walking on Grönland that can perhaps frighten people, because that's the image we get. But the reality can be totally different. So the picture being created also influences the police force and how they look upon individuals and act in relationship to these individuals. If you are more than 2 or 3 young black men together, you draw attention. And if you have on a hoodie like you even draw more attention. And it's a fact. So I'm not saying, like my friend said here, what to wear, but I'm saying when you wear certain types of clothes, you should be aware of what impression you are making and giving to the outer world. But it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to dress the way you want to dress. I mentioned this, so I won't go into it, the media and so on. But I want to get to this particular point here. It's called the police pyramid, the power pyramid. Have you all heard of this one? Okay, this is a very, very interesting, because this is actually what the police by law are entitled and mandated to do if necessary. You can read it there or you can't. At the bottom of the pyramid, it says, tillstedeværelse, presentation, symbolsk makt. In other words, the police are walking in a particular area and they're exercising their right to do that. And in a way, it's symbolic. It's letting you know that law and order is present. Law and order is present, you're safe. Then you have verbal communication. The police can speak to you. They can tell you, they can give you assistance. They can also tell you, hey, you need to leave this area. We're carrying out some investigations or something, or there's a crime has been committed, you need to leave. And you need to follow the police's instructions. Because if you don't, you're breaking the law. Then we go to the situation where they decide, okay, you're not complying, so they're going to transport you away. Or they're going to arrest you. So you have transport and arrest. But the police can also use pepper spray. So for example, if there are crowds, the crowds are aggressive or whatever purpose, and you must remember that, as I said, we have theory and we have practice. So the theory and the practice doesn't always mesh together. Sometimes you have officers who go beyond their reasonable duty. Some police officers, and I keep mentioning some, not all, some police officers are over-aggressive when they meet the public. We also have to remember, if there's a large crowd of people, and let's say there are 3 police and 20 young men, The police are also humans. It's 20 against 3. They may feel frightened. They may feel intimidated. This is the chemistry and this is the psychology taking place here. So at all times, you as the individual should try and understand these things to stay on the safe side. Because we will go further up the pyramid. They can use pepper spray. Have you all heard that people have been sprayed by pepper and tear gas? Yes, that is a reality, and the police, by law, can do so to prevent crime, right? To break up riots or demonstrations. But I say riots, demonstrations, but at times, young people have been sprayed with pepper when perhaps that should have never been used. And the issue is, who do they pepper spray? I don't know if I've ever heard anybody being pepper sprayed in Holman Colne or at Myers Store. But I've heard of many people being sprayed at Holmlia, at Morton's Road. So the question is, when do officers take the liberty to use certain types of force when perhaps it wasn't necessary? I don't know. I'm just saying that these things occur. You hear reports. For the organization I work for, we get reports from people. Grown people, but many young people. Anyway, so they can use their baton. They can hit you with a baton. And they would be in their rights. And even if they weren't in their rights, you mustn't believe that you're going to win a case against the police. That is extremely difficult. There was one case just recently, wasn't it, Fredrikstad? And they were ethnic Norwegians, where there was an altercation between them and the police they said used brutal force, unnecessary force against these young people. The case went, I think, all the way to the Supreme Court, and the police officer still got off. There was a lot of camera footage, etc. But anyway, they can kick you, as it says there, spark or slag. That is also a tool in their toolkit that they can use. And they can also use weapons, guns. And my next slide has to do with that. You see, the police can use force where death occurs. It's a reality. It doesn't happen regularly in Norway, but it happens. It happens more in America. It happens more in England. But actually, we don't have a total overview. And the statistics from the United Nations, if I'm not mistaken, states clearly that people of African origin, right, there are more custodial deaths, meaning people of African origin dying in custody or in contact with the police. The scientists and the researchers can study that. I'm just giving you some facts, or figures, I should say. Everybody recognizes this particular individual. Who is this person? Right, everybody recognizes this particular fellow. You see this position here? You see it often if they are going to arrest people and the person is resisting. Now, a chokehold is not something the police are recommended to use, but I'm not going to go into that discussion. It happens, and a chokehold is a dangerous thing. But since everybody recognized George Floyd, what's this fellow's name? Anybody recognizes this particular individual? That's very sad. This is Norway's George Floyd. He was choked to death in Trondheim by Trondheim police. I think it was in 2007 or 8. I can't remember exactly the year. No one has heard of Obiora? Okay, you remember the name, but you don't recognize the face. Yes. This is Obiora. He was choked outside of a nerve contour. Okay? By 3 police officers. Holding his legs down and one choking him around the neck. There were 36 witnesses. Okay? And this fellow, Nigerian background. He came, and by the way, he has a master's, or had a master's. Can't remember which discipline, but he had a master's. And he was unemployed, which is not so uncommon for people of African origin with very high education. They still face the unemployment lines. His son, it was his son's birthday. If I remember the story correctly, it was his son's birthday. And he was supposed to get his money paid out sometime before, so he went down to the office because he wanted to get this money to buy his son a present. And there was a slight altercation between him and the case handler, Sachs behandelen. And the lady asked him to leave, and he was on his way out, but she had called security and said, hey, look, there was somebody here, and maybe I've asked him to leave, or whatever the case may be. What she didn't know was that security called the police. So by the time this gentleman had reached on the outside, the police were already there. I don't need to go anymore. He was choked to death. The police said that he was resisting arrest. Many of the witnesses, as I said, there were 36 witnesses. This case was a big case. You can Google it and see how many articles they wrote about it, right? And why I'm mentioning this, the state attorney, Riksadvokaten, dropped the case against the police officers. They said that the police were within the framework of the law. And that, of course, it was a tragic incident. But my point is that the police officers were found not guilty. In fact, when you say found not guilty, it never went to court. It's just the district attorney who makes that decision. The district attorney calls the shot. So I want to come back to my young people again. It is very important, if you come into contact with the police, very important that you understand the dynamics and the chemistry. And of course, we're not saying that the police are brutal. I am not saying that. I'm saying that there's always a potential for things to escalate and come out of control. And therefore, I am saying to you that you should ensure that that does not come out of control. I had 2 young people who were supposed to assist me here. Yes. I just want to show you things that you may not understand or know, and how things are interpreted by the police based on law. Remember that? Based on law. I just want to show a situation. When you hear about vold moet offentlig tjenestemenn. Sorry. All right, what was the last part? Just give me a... Setting Norwegian. All right. Okay, for the... Jeg nevner dette her når det gjelder politiet og hva heter det for noe? Oppgjøret. Fordi det som er viktig... Ja. Kan vi snakke? Det som er viktig for ungdom å forstå, det er at når man møter politiet, og politiet tar kontakt med deg, man må alltid huske at man må huske dynamikken og kjemien. Og husk at politiet skal være profesjonell, men det kan alltid være den ene som er ikke det. Og dermed så er det viktig at du er klar over at dette kan være en farlig situasjon. Det kommer helt an på hva som skjer rundt deg. Men at du behersker situasjonen. At du holder den rolig. At du kontrollerer den situasjonen. Ikke provoserer politiet. Det er ikke nødvendig. Noen ganger så er folk veldig sånn, hva heter det for noe, rappkjeft, og vil på en måte fornærme politiet og så videre. Det er ikke nødvendig. Hold den situasjonen i ro. Så Jeg sier at dere må kontrollere det. Og jeg har lyst til å nevne, jeg får 2 folk på scenen her, fordi jeg sa at det er noe som heter vold mot offentlige tjenestemenn. Det er en tiltale du kan få. At du har vært voldelig mot politiet. Og når man sier vold, så tenker man kanskje annerledes. Folk har forskjellige persepsjoner om hva vold er for noe. Men jeg har lyst til å gi deg et lite eksempel på hva vold mot offentlige tjenestemenn kan være. Så hvem synes du ser litt sånn mer politiaktivt enn de to? Da er du politi. Du er jo, hvem er du? Er det nå? Er det nå? En kriminell og en politi. Så, vi har en situasjon. Ja. Is it okay? Ok, så vi har en situasjon hvor politiet kommer frem til deg, ikke sant? Det har skjedd et eller annet, vi vet ikke, men det har skjedd et eller annet. Men poenget er at... Sorry? You see, I'm confused. They said I need to speak to the youth in Norwegian. Yeah. Nobody's going to be arresting you. Så, tilbake til situasjonen. Man tror at for at det skal være vold mot offentlige tjenestemenn, at kanskje du må begynne å slå til og så videre. Nei, det er grovt vold. Det er noe annet. Men så enkelt. Du skal nå prøve å pågripe ham. Ta tak i ham. Ja. Du liker ikke det. Nei. Så du skal vri deg unna. Ja. Kom deg unna, vri deg unna. Ja, og du prøver å ha på ham igjen. Ja. Stopp. Ser det voldelig ut til dere? Det er vold mot offentlige tjenestemenn. Hvis den tjenestemann eller kvinne bestemmer seg for å si at det var voldelig. Ja, han slo meg. Det kanskje var ikke noe ment slag, men jeg ble truffet. Eller at mens han prøver å komme seg unna, men han treffer henne i ansiktet. Det var ikke mening. Men det er vold mot offentlige tjenestemenn og kvinner. Sorry? I'm not hearing you.
Resist of arrest.
Aha. Okay. Så, det var bare Ama, du er forsinket, du. Så det er bare et eksempel. Et annet eksempel som jeg leste opp er ikke ta på tjenestemenn eller kvinner. Ta på henne, bare på skulderen. Du prøver å forklare henne, men jeg har ikke gjort noe galt. Ja, og så kommer du tilbake igjen, ikke sant? Det er gestikulering. Man tenker ikke på det. Men de kommer tilbake, og så sier vedkommende nei, ikke ta på. Fordi hun vet ikke hva han kommer til å gjøre. Vi må huske at hun er redd også. Politiet de er mennesker. De kan være redde, selv om de er i uniform. De kan... Sorry? I have to start singing a song here, boy. One in English and one in Norwegian. Yeah. So anyway, but you understood from what took place here, you understood that or not? All right. The point is, I want to see you all in a conversation where you start to gesticulate. Use body language. Yeah? Or, you hold this. Right. So, I am talking to the officer. But I didn't do anything. Why do you want to arrest me? Wrong situation. Because you may be perceived as aggressive, even though you're not thinking aggressive, but you're being perceived as aggressive. So, police officer speaks to you, put your hands behind your back. Don't talk too much. Again, we started this lecture by saying you have the right to remain. Thank you. Don't forget it, because many people forget that. The officer says, where have you been? Oh, I was down the road. You can't hear me at the back? You need a hearing aid. So, what I'm saying is that it's a perception thing where you can be perceived as being aggressive. So do not use your hands and wave, right? Remain very calm and collective. The less you speak, the better. So the officer asks you, where are you coming from? Right? You might say, it's none of your business. Wasn't a good answer. But you can say, well, officer, why are you asking me such a question? So you answer a question with a question. Is there a cause for asking me? What's the situation? Because you are entitled to get information. And as I'm saying, they're looking for someone of your description. That is a typical answer you get from the police. We're looking for somebody with your description. Well, it's not me. You just keep your conversation limited. Don't raise your voice. Be calm, collective. I'm not saying if the officer asks you for assistance, hey, I'm looking for an address or something of the sort, of course you're going to give help. But in a situation where you may be targeted for or accused of something, you have to be careful as to how you express yourself. So I want to give a last example. You all can take a seat, sorry. You go ahead, thanks. I want to just give a last example of a situation that where a young man was asked by the police for assistance. The officer was in a corridor on a second or a third floor, can't remember, and the officer was in plain clothes and said to this gentleman, Norwegian African, that I need some assistance because I need to.
I'm not low, think I def lumag. It's not yo, and I follow from the ag. Yeah, jamba, yeah, move up to kill. I do yaka, you're a game up to kill. For who met you while I near, forget if you jump, from a young musoga leg, yo. Bullding nango cooler so fell. Quit that's a dollar, then they jump there. Bullding nango cooler tat the law. Bullding gesto, bullding top of top. Very jamba mumble ken. I'm a little support with some big tail. You can't get to the wire. I'm only getting higher. Woo! I'm not low. Think I def lumag. It's not yo, and I follow from the ag. Yeah, jamba, yeah, move up to kill. Yo, let you yaka, you're a game up to kill. I'm not low. Think I def lumag. It's not yo, and I follow from the ag. Yeah, jamba, yeah, move up to kill. Yo, let you yaka, you're a game up to kill. Jamba, never put it all in. God don't mask you. She's a big dollar. We'll find the thing in Jody. You want young heart. How are you so trying to do it? Them will do the war. They all be doing let them. Come and finger jar. I'm not a thing a market. The best when you're the argue. I'm not alone. Think I don't know market. It's not a yo. And I'm far from the argue. Yeah, jamba, yeah, boy, what's the yoga? Yo, let me yaka, you're a game of
Wrap it up, guys.
Yo, clap for my broski for coming out here performing with me. Next song.
Come on, turn it up, guys.
Everyone.
Say mashallah, baby neke ya da say photo. Samu khol bagina vroom vroom. Dah ya koy dawal ni ko yore moto. Sama olala, lay nek baby so ma tege loxo. Yak sa tayu Coca-Cola. Sama wone ginaaw da may tagok sago. Kon baby bul dem dikkel. No burger la lay defal. Ni bay fal bi ak diggal. Luñ la sikal mi nga mel la la bëggee. Ay jëna boo fa newul. Jarul ñu ma fay dugal. Sorry la doy na bëggal. Luñ la sikal mi nga mel la la bëggee. From a there, baby, from a there. From a there. Cause I'm a home. Lot of there. Baby, no burger. My burger, my burger, love. From a there. From a there. Baby, from a there. Some of home. Lot of there. Oh yeah. Baby, no burger. My burger, my burger. Sama xol bi li dawal ni ku yore moto. Déggi sa tànk yow accéléré ma ko ngay doore. Yaa mën a dawal baby. Oh yeah. Teg ko fa jeexal. Para di la xeexal nga mer ma di la neexal. Fii xesan ci man jarul ñu lay sikkal ni nga mel laa la bëggee. From a there, baby, from a there. Wax ma from a there. Sama xol laa la bëggee. Loo bëgg man bëgg naa ko billaay. From a there, wax ma from a there. Baby, from a there. Sama xol laa la bëggee. Oh yeah, baby, loo bëgg man bëgg naa ko.
Mr. DJ. What not? Oh. Everyone.
Clap it up.
Foguma na pesa nyo benga warma. Teguma la benchana. Defana la lepuli ni sohna. Nekete yo, bugulo dara ludul karma. Bugi jana mwe gene support. Nikana sifa nete sona. Bato koste. Boy dinkin yo. Defam gani bugel dulu ni force. Boy dinkin yo. Deka yo. Musulama bugu, deka yo. Mande muna tuwa, deka yo. Musulama bugu, deka yo. Mande muna tuwa.
Just love and show them.
I love on night, go I'm in love again. Go I love on night, go I don't fall again. If I move on, come and I'm not going back again. Back again. Bato coste, so they may someone I'm coste. Can no book a force, and me I cannot kill myself. The man laughing a heart breaking now. The man laughing a heart breaking now. If you ever wanna leave me go, I would open up the next door. They want to coste, boy thinking in you. They come then they book you to me force. Boy thinking in you. Oh, yo, take a yo. Musulama bugu man, take a yo. Monday muna two man, take a yo. Musulama bugu man, take a yo. Monday muna two man, take a yo. Diga khamne maduma musa guest ko, luma take a yo. Jinde niggas jai.
I killed that for this song, bro.
Oh no, I'm not communicating with the DJ. Yo, what
Come.
Hey, kun baby I'm a moteli man. Sayum lo khole ngan jang ji. Baby, Yo, yeah, what not yalla, baby? Yeah, I'm a guy.
Tutu mela bai.
Joke na la khol be xam nga love bi duma si tay. Wow, wow. Mamo, munu mala. Ndax yaa ma gënal. Cey waay. Mu ne lan? Baby, man yaa ma gënal wurus ngalam. Now I love you guys so much. Mr. DJ, drop it, drop it.
That's just
Mr.
it, man.
DJ.
That's just it.
Everyone, that play.
Where the class at?
Everyone sing along.
Wanachia lagi sumulu menili. Kon baby yamu moteli man. Sayung lo khol lerbe melni jantu ji. Baby, yo yamu tamali man. Chia baby yamu kinal guy. Tutu mela bai. Jona la khol be kham de love be do si tai. Munu mala bai yamu kinal murus nala. Sakhar kanam. Sakina bana, baby. Ya makin urus ngalam. Sakar kana, sakina bana. Oh no, baby. Ya makin urus ngalam, ngalam, ngalam. Yeah, urus ngalam, baby. Baby, ga sakina bana, bana, bana. Yo sakina bana. Oh no, baby. Ya makin. Jaram na malap si kiki. Mande funk na, tumala jeglu neti. Wanati yalla denga chofe baby. Sama fol viola kim bunu bo weti. Ya ta kuli dem ci sama se. Bala ken la ne tokal ni dem ci la sama xol bi xam nga ne ya ma ko sana ni dem. Ki ma bëgg yola xol bi te ya ko taw mi tokal ni dem. Dem sey bi xam nga ne to wanati yalla baby ya ma gënal gaay. Ya ma gënal gaay.
Tutu mela bai.
Jona la xol bi xam nga love bi du si tay. Sakar kanam, iba sakina bana, baby. Ya magina urus ngalam. Sakar kanam, iba sakina bana. Oh no, baby, ya magina urus ngalam. Isala sakina bana, urus ngalam. Say me, ya magina sakina bana. Isala sakina bana. Oh no, baby, ya magina.
I want y'all, left all your blow kasai. Back it from.
Oh, turn it out, guys!
Come on, rise up, man. Guys. And hello guys. And Wednesday, inshallah, Rabbi, I'll be performing and at the Iras Festival too. So y'all get aksi fofu no. Ambiance begin at man. On Wednesday, I'll be here too. On Wednesday, inshallah. Guys, thank you so much.
Hello? If everyone can be quiet, please, and settle down so that we can start again. If everyone can be quiet, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Conference on tarde tale 30 minutes. Nyanta fintila janjuna. So ni mol man si conference on te banna the fintinola jang and then fonga mol be charge kodi jamala because every hour after the time ika extra lejo. Nyanta fintila jang 8 o'clock. We're already 30 to 45 minutes late. So please, can everybody settle down? And can everybody please give full respect to Sire and B, because they're the hosts this evening. Can everybody please be silent and sit down? Please.
Thank you. Thank you to Moles for a great performance. That was lovely. Next, we welcome Mariama Jobate. She's the CEO of Fantanka. She will share our presentation and a video highlighting Fantanka's work in community improvement and social justice. So give her a warm applause.
I think I'll just use that, yeah? Malls. Hello? No? Is this not working? Prefer this one. Okay, this one is working. What a performance, Malls. Fallen deaf Malls. Fallen Kodef. After all that, I'm talking to the young people now, today. After hearing everything we have heard, if somebody was giving you an option to do anything you want to do today, I'm talking to you, what would it be? Giving you the option, do anything you want to do in the world today. No control, nothing. Who's bold enough? You want to football? Who else? The girls, come on. What would you like to do? What would you like to do? Play football? Anything else? Why are the ladies all right? Play football. Anything else apart from football? Nothing. You just want to sit down here and listen to me, bore your life? All right. Good luck. You? Business owner. All right. Cool. So, my brothers and sisters, I also want to see how many of you have ever heard from your parents saying to you, no, this is not our culture. You're not supposed to do this. It's not our culture. How many of you, hands up? Including the older ones. It's not our culture. Okay, keep your hands up if you have heard or if you had said to yourself quietly, oh no, actually, I'm not in that culture. It is not my culture. It is your culture, mommy. You've thought about it? Hands up. It's okay, don't worry, they're not here. They're invisible. Okay. Social control doesn't just lock your doors to freedom. You have said so much about freedom, and I also argue that social control does not always lock your door from freedom. They lock your door, they give you the keys, you put it in your pocket, and now we are together going to find the way to get those keys from your pocket and hold those keys to open your future and your freedom. So, a young Gambian girl in Scotland once told me, at school, they tell me to speak up. At home, they tell me to be quiet. Have we ever been in these kind of situations? Outside, they're telling you speak up. Inside, they're saying to you, be quiet. At school, they tell you you can do anything you want to do, including the streets. At home, parents are saying there are certain things you cannot do, you know. You cannot say these things out loud, but you cannot do them. Have we ever heard these things? If we please listen to each other. Okay. So these words that the girl said to me, I have heard a lot of these words from other young people in the diaspora. Why do they always want us to keep quiet? Why do they always want us to zip? Don't say this, don't do this. We are conflicted between two cultures. So as a migrant youth, we often face triple weight. Parents' tradition that may limit our freedom. It is a tradition they come from, and they are expected to exert that kind of tradition on you, limiting the freedom. Social control, the unspoken rules that tell us that this is not accepted. For example, for girls, or it is forbidden. I can speak in Mandinka as well, if that is what's been asked. I was joking there. So how many times amongst us here, the younger people, your parents would look at you with some different eye style, and you thinking, you know, she's asking me to stop. Have we ever experienced these? How do you feel about that? Can you tell me how you feel about that? When you looked at differently and you expected to understand what been told to you. Pardon? It's kind of control? They're controlling you and telling you how to act in a certain situation. Okay. So the realities of, I think we're going to charge each other if we hear each other speak. Is that fair? Yeah, because actually we are here for a purpose. If everybody was going to say something, I don't think we, should have been here. Everybody could have been in your own house. So let us just, be patient for a little bit and listen to each other. So the realities of race and migration as well. That means we must work 10 times harder than the children of the host communities. Because the children of the host communities, they know one thing, what the society is telling them, what the community is telling them. And they are grown to accept those community rules. But we come from different parts of the world, and we need to respect that side of the world, and we need to respect this side of the world. Conflicting ideas, conflicting tradition, conflicting unspoken words. So you see, we are not alone when we are saying to ourselves, just keep the peace at home by doing what our parents want us to do. Because at the end of the day, it's more peaceful. You cannot be going back and forth because it brings conflict in the house. So we need to keep the peace. One of the researches I have found is that Norwegian laws, basically, yes, it protects us from harmful practices, including FGM, forced marriages, violence in the home. But let's be honest, these laws are on papers, even in the West, because we have heard that a lot of people would take their children back home and practice some form of control, then bring them into the host communities without saying anything. And yesterday, like I said, if you dare to speak, then you are going against your own. Many young people still face pressures, threats, or punishment. Sometimes these are the kind of things that are brutal to our mental health. When you choose a path that is different from your parents' path, you are not welcome in your house. You are seen as the rude child in the house. So research has found that, according to UNICEF, over 370 million girls and women globally, that is about 1 in 8, have been subject to rape and sexual assault as a child. So when our parents are controlling us, they're telling us not to speak, they're telling us that certain things are forbidden, these are some of the things they are limiting us from speaking about. They're limiting us, unintentionally speaking about rape, speaking about assault. Because if you're saying to a person there are certain things you cannot say, now we are conflicted between what to say and what not to say. And even if it's going to harm us, we are forced to digest this. So studies has also found that young migrant people, they have reported the feelings of being restricted by their families. In terms of friendship, they tell you who to be friends with, who not to be friends with. Freedom of movement, where to go, when to go, who to go with. Our career choices, I think many of us are guilty here. Mothers, how many of us would say to our children, no, you cannot be an engineer. You'll have to do certain other career choice that I want, because we don't do these kind of things in our families. In the Gambia, for example, some of these issues have also affected, have also been the reason why certain issues such as female genital mutilation is also done to control us, to control our sexuality, to control the fact that we want children to be virgins until they get married. How many of us parents honestly sit down with our girls and our boys to say to them that these are the reasons why we want, for example, you to keep your virginity, instead of just subjecting girls to female genital mutilation? Do we think this is fair, girls? Would you prefer dialogue to this kind of control? No? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So when we now want to speak to our parents about things that we do not like, what would it result to? Guess? Do we argue with our parents? Intergenerational conflict, it occurs as a result of us not wanting to do what our parents want us to do, but our parents are forcing and insisting that we need to do what they want us to do. So the truth is, parents love us. They bring us to this world. They do love us. They want us to succeed. But sometimes their love is wrapped with fear. Fear of us losing our culture, because this is very important to parents. Fear of shame in the community. Now parents are thinking, if you, for example, get pregnant out of wedlock, what are my friends going to say? What is the community going to say? What am I going to say to people back home? So out of this fear, there are so much control that is exerted on us because we do not want to be embarrassed. As a result, we young people may be, for a long time subject to embarrassment because you also want to do certain things that your friends are doing, but you do not have the opportunity they have. But here's the conflict. What they call protection can sometimes become control to many young people. The boys in this room, how many have been told, for example, don't cry, be strong, you are a man? Boys, men? No other boy? Learning, yeah. Okay. So did you believe this when you were told not to cry, be strong because you are a man? You used to until that changed. And the girls, how many have been told, be quiet, be obedient? A woman's pride is in her home. Have we heard that, girls? Be quiet, be obedient. I need to see the hands up. Okay. So these are some forms of social control as well. And it does not only harm people, it harms both girls and boys. It pushes young men into toxic masculinity, even crime. It silences young women into submission. You do as you told, you don't ask questions. So we must ask, how do we honor our parents while we honor ourselves? We do not rebel. That shouldn't be the answer. As the previous speaker said, we must engage in dialogue. Dialogue that says, Mama, Baba, I hear you, but I hear myself too, and I want you to hear me. Dialogue that transforms silence into understanding and control into trust. My brothers and sisters, the future will not wait for us. If we stay silent, the cycle continues. If we speak, we break barriers. We must speak against harmful practices, whether in Oslo, Edinburgh, Banjul, or other parts of the diaspora. We should support one another as migrant youth, create safe spaces where we can breathe, dream, grow without fear, engage our parents with respect, but also with courage to say, I am part of both worlds. Let me flourish in both worlds. I just need you to guide me, walk along with me. You push for education, skills, and leadership because knowledge is power, and power breaks chains. Fantanka has been doing this work, supporting young people in the Gambia to fight sexual and gender-based violence, a form of social control, training survivors to rebuild their lives, and creating safe spaces where youth voices lead. And here in the diaspora, Fantanka Diaspora is working to empower migrant youth through mentorship, safe spaces, sports, education, and dialogue with parents. But this work cannot be done by one organization, two organizations, or individuals. We must all join to do the work. So we are going to act, educate ourselves and others about social control and its harms, to speak up even when it's hard, because change will only come when we support each other. I always like to leave something that we remember, and in this case, I want us to remember that silence is the seed to control. Dialogue is the seed to freedom. Silence is the seed of control. Dialogue is the seed of freedom. I'll say it one more time. Silence is the seed of, dialogue is the seed of freedom. What are we going to do? Are we going to keep silent, or are we going to engage our parents in dialogue? Dialogue respectfully. Let us plant freedom. Let us act not just for ourselves, but for the youth still silent in the Gambia, Oslo, Edinburgh, and other parts of the world. I challenge every one of you in this room today, when you go, sit down with your mothers and fathers and say to them that you need to believe me. You need to believe that I can think for myself. But when you are saying that, you need to believe it yourself. So we break the chains of control. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this beautiful message. Now, prepare to be moved by Team Kitabo. Theatrical performance. This cultural act is a vivid portrayal of resistance, resilience, and a call to end social control. Please give them. Please give them a warm welcome.
Jula fara duta, juju wale boita. Jula fara duta, juju wale boita. Koye iramba, koye iramba, iramba, koye iramba. Anyangolu mahanya lao iramba. Sate mwalo jikitara iramba. Koye iramba. Ye iramba. Koye iramba. Iramba mujato letiwo iramba. Koye iramba. Koye iramba. Jula fare duta go iramba. Nakole yada mema. Ako iramba. Hey iramba. Iramba. Koye iramba. Iramba. Koye iramba. Balakula sana ufele. Toto dima fele. Ko iramba. Koye iramba. Ula sana yata iramba fe. Sudo majakali iramba. Koye iramba mujato letia iramba. Iramba, iramba, koye iramba. Koye iramba. Koye iramba. Iramba mujato letia koye iramba. Lalo masi ile nata, chuchutiyo le fintita. Lalo masi fele, lalo masi nata. Koye lalo nata, fondinge lu borida, dindingo lu janjanta. Juju wale boita, lalo masnata, lalo bala swakanga nimbara bina jato fele, oye, lalo masnata, lalo fele dingina, lalo mas fele, lalo fele bina, lalo lenata. Numukeba felabita, numukeba felabita. Fambo de banoma, juju aduta, koye, fambo, koye, fambo, dia. Numukeba felabita, nimbolo, numukeba. Koye, numukeba felabita, numukeba felabita. Fambo ni banoma, koye, numukeba. Koye, numukeba. Yo, numukeba felabita, numukeba felabita, numukeba felabita. Tunkawani mbaya hormoto, numukeba felabita. Tunkawani mbaya hormoto, numukeba felabita. Ifamo di banoma, kwe ifamo di moja. Ifamo di banoma, felabita. Badangula weya.
Jangan kide. Yes, sih, muka mujanya.
Maria, ayo sirin.
Mbesiri na ha.
Ela molledu.
Efendi dal.
Ha. Ayo. Maria ankon natal no prunga kacha.
Itu watu wat. Iku kono kula kataraji. Nyuno mbifa na mune.
Maria wela kula ben kun kono.
Ndela gol be da.
Yala mimmo. Lefsale nga kacha. Kom banjoni mbara nyaabe telini nyola. Kuma dima be borlante ma ko feriyo. Yala on telefte tel. Hani moma o fuye te fengo wolonne.
Alnako akam do koy defana ñañi musu ñi mal bedija imam mo cius fonde o don dañi ñabada
ñadante teltu musol siatale ba momona la choice lem
yala moy mi kay fan ninu
Mariam
ete la ben
ete sa fete man takan
aniko ite kanu ko le sijam fanyi ndiro le sija
Mariam, I love you, that's why I'm here. Ba ku kili wala mun na problem mot na doko
mun doko sifa
Mariam te muti child. And we
teacher umunati.
Teacher, mind your business. Teacher, are you even stupid? Eh? Ita ninta di ngombe sino nyanyadi. Ita fana nge nyama lako jino. Ika fe ke da be yele ka fo jango akomo ndeta fana nyinkanul.
Uncle Kitab.
Hey, ni ko nya Uncle Kitab mbesi okundulande.
Sorry.
I don't want nonsense. This is not your type. This girl is not your type.
But I love her.
If you love her, it's your business. You are just a teacher.
She loves me too.
Hey, do you love her? Do you love her?
Baki domu jambur la.
Ne ko boy ki domu jambur ni nget lo fa di jang ibalon na. Domu jambur yo nga xam lolu ki nga xam ne ki teacher la ngay sonal sa bopa. Ngo teacher albuka fen soton. Allah salary buka fen si. Hey, ya la memem folete. E batum bang ite ta suwo kono. Kamo bala je kaburo si ne nge fa nse ba de wota. Ndaka maso ya nga men ngede kulli wolto maso ya sa na maso ya ka fiya walla nga maso ya men ke yo ta so kono bo lori mbala ta so kono ajibe wa ko mun da sara wula muso nyin hey kuma kile mbolo fole fata nyima yamwe fata ibatum fata nyima ntenga nyinga mole plan mbadi la menna ikamwele amalla fila ikamwele ningena tara lorin. This is a warning. If I meet you standing with my daughter again, I will not only kill you, But I will slaughter you there. You said, did I? Did I know one?
Mana mintol? Ibe no mana ka bana mintol?
Na, nanda ki jobo da babakan.
Muna ka
Baban ta malu fusa ni ni ya ka bulawol no banta mala.
Ye mune kala? Hey.
Dia munyi.
Mariam de ka mintol. Ni da boy ta jebe mina fola.
Dia munyi.
Mune ka
This girl is aimless. This girl is progressless. This girl is very stupid. Ani ngalo nka memfo e.
Ana nyimbe fo nyi.
Ani mba fula ni.
Purumu, ye dingo me wulu.
Nyima nya lo mo kan jam fo teacher.
Teacher mune ka dala.
Teacher me mo fo teacher. Hey, teacher 2005 you already receive.
Nkoto.
2005
so wala bad ne yani wo jolori ya bayndi nante itele mo ni fota so ko be min
ko
kala yaka
hani yalo mbukala fikala hani mbukala fikala idi maka mbukala finyin
ntamal la nyin kan
no mbukala finyin
bala muyti ni ndi ngo benta siloka na min ka man beta afa e benta rasu ko
sa ko nda
fa na so ko be min kala yaka bari yo bayndi lan kabiri siloka
nga bayndi nan tubabol kan jibele ko senama far nim fudala trafic la do da lo na lo tan trafic ko taranga tanoma
una jibe ba fa ba mi fatol nyamata
iba mira ko nyamata
ibola mira la ko
nyamata be tubabu du janna ko aso bilem
bari bu ko je bori mbori na si sata ko no de
amula jol tim ndaba mborlal
bari ko be min na bula dinno
ko yalla ko makilim bolo fole
yo
ndela fta nyindi la somestal la mome ya lon ko ben na fala ndene de be mfuarol di mbam fen soto atol la silo bi moti jame ko ro sot ndafana ko ko ngolam so sa membe je wala mu don ko fuara buka ku bondi no nyokan sa membe ngala wala mu don ko ngadi mola membe na fala inka moyle amanga ngati tanyin konne de baraka mer receive atensila mani bodo so killing akola receive
je ko da ko lafte dingo wafila
mu wafi
iba wafi kan ne ko
ngadi
itela fuara ya wala bat ne be dingo wafila nkoto dankene ya
ni konko
ani konko mi do mun konko le ke
nani aje mundole ko dankene aka mo ko no fande
wala bat ne be dingo wafila
manda wafila bari mbadun la dulal
man ta wafila de itela fuara ya tatin nan min be ndingo ci kala mbadi la momi ala
ko do so mbula ite fo
sama na man na ni dia so do
ite fo amere ko ndenge de fon kanule internet kan
ni atara fanka ma yala ndaba fudulete anda fudulete ta paja se karo
abediat
no
abediat okay comme de ça na paja se karo ikal lankene ma wala ja
hani me lankene ma yala
abediat no problem bismillah ngabula men lafta men na fudu wala ngana jibe ni tele nda fudu ani ni tele fudu abe koylal ni tele de fudu ha ko
abediat
ndala nga nyindi ngo wulu
ndingo mbele den dal yake nyaawo nya betiat
ndala nga wulu
betiat
ite me yalo ngo ye almani yanti
wala na ro fuare anta futute ka wonya
partana me kadi amundal kante tere ma hu ya ha ngat Alhamdulillah. Allo? Abulay. Dawo. Kordande. Mole ka be musu nyinola. Abe tu babu duje. Basta jam muso babu jan. Why? One day vendi. Nde membe jedo wala mu don ko ay ke mo ken noti ko do ko manda wala ni de ago mo be ko do kilañ afa kana woge daram ngenda fanka malti fanka ma hani ngi na musole muterem ma agabe fanan solo wuli fulalla ikabe be kunyata mola benna gido so tabinje ha abaraka kanta to dum teram
e min kata man bete yade
ngamuneki
e mo mi je folo e bo dani la ko do la munella
abekala mo ken dolti
se wul ba ne ba dani la ko do
tubabol ka me force inspiration nyim ka be ko dol kila nyana wala force inspiration
o me da juma je folo
kila lem nim anata do ngolum fo lem be muso dila e kam mo teram
ma me dan tabo keno ni bele dani ro la fana kanan to foje
teram
ko do nana te dam ma ya do mun fata la yam fute
aiso
ha yam fute
abaraka
yo
iko la fara mangu ya moy ha ba woyde ko fata nda sata nga buju baja nga bajang kala ban onda problème
ite ngeja
nan ndi man da fudu
ngeja kulun kono jibate
ayenda ja kulun kono jibata ndanda woti de nda baga dum kulun fa kono nda baga hanyi jiwala neja jibe taraje ndala man dum kulun fa kono alhamdulillah mariama le sisi Simon if I be happy in I'm very happy ndo fonu la no we jankan wala bari abakola illa Maria ni ano ye nyaku ya that's your mind your business ndabe memfole wala muko
ba si jana
fonu nga funga na
si jana doron nda mo fe bar si jana doron
si ndala nge wulo
ide mulke la fengol talan ka ku ka pasin ka lan die jem ko son ko ni den ko doron tama fen den ko mutala night
ni furuta ke kendo abe gasinal sanya abe bagendo sanya sa membe je wala mo kon ninke wadi amutala futu be setla
juma sanku
juma neti ta ko fonye jambe tulo fadlal de
ba bar foto wondi do ma ci fati jamu munati
fenne tabulu
bar sam fay de ben de la fengol kam mala fo
interest itala mun dala investment ot itala mun dala fengoti personal investment ba wonde da wulu la wanyama ko ndege da wulu yana ta ke la wanyama for nothing. It's like I gave back to you for nothing. I wouldn't have anything in return. So I have to give you to a very, very wonderful man, a rich man that will take care of you and take care of me. So I remember Jim. Wala muko nana to don furu setla. So nim furu setla do eta yefenga yi ete keya.
Ba fa ka ke wala nyam.
Aka ka wala nyam. Ndeja na so. Aka wala nyam.
Bay bu ko waltere andi kan ne de
fat
nin ku ta da findi je nta bala je de
mum fenda findi la woto o mu ke ken dot mum ten ken dot
ngem
no we jang kan wala sambu war male mu ne sabe jang fora bayi jonen sile mates les sky ke ki vinna sir gi tenken muna to ka kara nyaadi le jang ñing ko le atande salamun gawla mbirabila jim abeda fo afere me kuenas oji ban sere tenga teter natala matwala bo sangu e karanda nyaawo nyaano we janga we mo kara
ay ñum fa
fo be je ma lon kamem
yeen fanam moy
nga do wande moy je
yo abeti ya
ko karankante ngabir ngaaje
su ko non ko le
organisation fo legente silin
ebe santo le fo ebe dumal
mbe duma santo imani la kis tiling oku oji menenken terengang sta
bageda musara wala nte fo ngame be nde ko ndama ebe indian kan le foka
ninde be jan sun karonde de fem fola moy ndete tara sundi ko menyen kan fola be mbatande
wala kay ale man karanne fana wala tin ni karanta fobe son yale mal na de tele ya ese hako boni nya wolongo yentara nya men janni maryam yalon amanyinya wala kay
imam men fudu na be sila nyaadi de
amanyinya wanyama bari hani bi nate kan wo ko kilin wala pour ye yam fo maba kitabu maryam be la firin dal be la firin ala pour ye silo
ndala man la
bari ete bagata futu wala
nde bugara bari ni wala kata andra nga wulu ay bon ha
bar ngolon ne bari ite nganta min duwala wolem ye dungo dundu dulata be nidi ya soto la dami
ani abe nija soro dame wala mun nafulo be dame na ta ya kokol ba fala je
kam de ebe business ol
mba business ol
bari mete la muso di la wanyama
juma
ise haka tunye bari
sankung itna na so kono ja ennende
ani men bari yalo
man buguma yebate
lidu yebate degala la wax nak
so mo waxe deka do be je ni o fanya mbel tulo fadi lele man deka bobu nga fana dem ma wara wa deka ya mele nyama ma
sa do mal la buga
duku bukutula munamu
abedi hat nade ka wala
ata tanka wala
e manso
mfata mbang nte bilem ni muso ni tata fo trema ko bilem afa e kono to je ni katambi afa e bilem ken ni nyin kan
ane ndama kele jalo ten teto sindila ku kilim bije
ba sindamal
mariam e kada di jumal
nga
e kada di jumal
nga semester la be janale
semester
holland
janin semester be namba kono mandila ba
ni ngesi yo ban ya mele nyama ma alko dal kanyine ke ha bawo man so nga fudu nga nyoko no mandi famere obe kelande ya jan nale nyoko no ma do bije ikana wala ke ni sungudun dun kono ma inata do je ta fudu ye sungudun ninga na so wala de ka fo ko ha bawo ikonde so na fudu wala sa mbaru nge kono mandi be na so nal mo kana so wala to le aba nonsense eta fana nanyi koto fo de man to di mal so to ban very romantic names isa fo nyono honi baby darling bayta bako kuma fonde na mangen koto nyara be jwa koto
foka bi be ta futun lete mena fonte e ko ngato nyaadi le fo yo fonye
kana fo nyen koto man la fa
ngatu bablu jante ko mbeta bulo mu tay kon kane bulo mu ko ta man jenti afote darling honi ko
sai
koto mbole fo le
bulo mu do forcer lamba
amanke forcer bar jay fay bu ko tubabul
bar kana fo nyen koto man la fa
yon ta fo
do jibe
nta fo le sai
fo liyo to je liyo
sai nga fe liyo yo mba fe liyo
liyo sa honi
honi sanku ni mu borle kata
sanku kana da jam mariama la ko bar nga bayndi si vaka
nga ka laftala
sanku alaftala ta fudula e bilem bitan kana bila fo mariama e ko nim bitan nata don sa te men gate wakila teta abita fudula
bitay na doro mo mi lo bitay na doro mala ko jibe ko mariama dunga bulina e asam ani atitano
la ngan ngo wulu
fo ni be man denga ni be man denga
anin tela kamulu
wala bat ne ba ni lan ta data ji
anin tela kamulu kana mi le ka fo ko mariama nyata nya botantel aboradel la de
jambe yalla mariama botamen
aboda jumal la
mariama botantel
ite nyin kente mbadi ka fo janya
mariama kento be nyaadi
teng at nyin kente zibala ba para nyin kente
ite ke fannene
ayo bismillah yo mbe karangol nan dum mayma imam moy kono
ngemo le mo nekam ne fo
fen ko no weji ano lemu ila safero le nyin imaje ñun do mu foro baji ñun do mu jon silem tesle
ngoto
kaika
ngoto
kibenna
ngoto
ritigata hayda alhamdulillah
mundu baleta na ta fote nyin kango be moy
ani ngado man moy jele ngado man moy yemaje ñun do mu yala inda africa committee Norway o mu english kangot bar membe duma o mu nosiki o kana sa jong for like and still ending
hey yo akanantal bari man na karan naja iko mariama silang nga ko mandi ba fo
ba akafa bila ke kana
nga fa ke kana
amanya bila ke kana ha hey
mariama
sorondi munake o ifane na ko yamra nyul kan tolo moy bila nke o kana mbesirin ke o manna
ayo ko mi na do nyaadi
yo mbatu njangata jibe aske no motole panda zolo ite sije mba
bawo ba ita ke din se ke ga di kele mamillo na ka nyawo nyam be ku kansila
ya lo ngeto la mbama Allah nimbe kuma la fo nyen namu
Ni moto le ba mal ni ba commande ka fenen na.
Ani no wanda to be fillare wala nan ka fo so bo Mariam. Membe je wala mo ko bile ke kana very handsome man, very rich man, and very romantic man. Abida nanata inshallah be di la eta fudu wala.
Ako bila bitan kana ya nto ta fulan ki.
Ha.
Tere ta si bun ko de fonyon de. Ta si bun ko.
Ngal kay ne kay kadi wolti dinni wolti nya. Abida sila bu njuma la kono. Hey, tete ye park. Ikate kele ya.
Abi park la bita amin ko.
Akata kele.
Sasa kemi ena. Handa kemi ni ji fa yesu no chika yadi.
Mba ni ji dlam woltoti. Abida yete ni ji nyokanje.
Yo nana ta.
Mun ni ji sifa.
Ndari de be de.
Ngai de be ni ji kanya.
Ndari de de ngola ni be ko kala kala fonyi.
Bari nga fo e janne nko ya ke kana.
Ande man nyendo so do pour ka diamu ndingo ba.
Terema. Ya? Nako?
Nana. Sweetheart. Sweetheart. Amore mio. Nana. Nana. Ngo barangana kono dia la kola ga musole kago. Ngo ala la musole la wai. Yala mbe ko vale bulade. Manda mende binga whisky le man nata no nga brani le manumbi. Ibe monja. Ngo. Eba don de ala nanga mu fo ndangal. Diwa? Ani itale. Ngo, itale. Ngo itale na musole kana kango jani itale wai. Iba ngo alina ngo. Nana ma. Anu lefa ni si falla de. Hai. Angana kodo di ngo mususudu nga mususudu ngo tarajang. Ika fanya wandani. Ya mede ala mumbeker. Ni ma ke na bulandi.
Ha Allahu akbar. Ha ndalan di ngoni bar sam fata. Allahu akbar. Aliko. Sangu. Sangu naba ngakacha biamule benitim. Sija.
Back it up.
Naam, si. Sangu.
Kora diata.
Adiata.
Ah.
Sangu nge kumandi menna. Kairo lamu.
Kairo.
Sangu ya lafta men.
Hani de.
Ndingo. Men kada Mariamat. Lafta le ya futu ale kila. Kadung ke o men ndenga mirabe kala nyamen. Wo mu dola batol. O manke do amanke ka do lon minde. Wo mu haniti lo bota kasira.
Mela ko momo e bakede.
Hani nga
Mariama yemi na futu sita mamme.
Nga la futu nga
Pasa o be futu le futu ka siti futu ka.
Hani ndenga boro menge kunu ngolon.
Bari
min wadol ko be 100 meters la 200 meters.
Bari bakira hani bi ndebe o do ku kilingol la den te muti jalti de.
Tija be atale tija mu dog woldi. Tija mu dog woldi de. Momo be dog wo dog wula is very important. Every work is work. Every person is human being.
Ntele ko lafta non. Say man la fi ko tek. My interest.
Sango da keno na de.
Ma kanu ko tek.
Imagine nye kanu wa keno.
Mariam.
Ike felante.
Hani nte Mariam.
Bay ko nyaadi. Akam de ka fele ko ike felandi.
Mbatata.
Ite ende futundi do e kana fo nye ike felandi.
Hani me futundi way ya Mariam nya mamma.
Je. Bay tele ka diam
ya lon ne fo. Sa membe je wala muko ike mu nyene te ngombe futu wosse le ngene te.
Ba futu mu kasiri futu kan. Bayde yendi wala. Hani atara muruntelen mbetula wol.
Is your choice? Is your choice? No problem. If it is your choice, won't tell a problem what?
Ntegata ngata continue na teacher yalla. Maria. Almela fudu kete fudut.
Maria mbatata.
Ba.
Muna mbonni nyongo.
Bayde ko mu stay sifal ketentimba. Idile sanku ngumani ka fa kananta di sankuna. Pour mu.
Membe je ngedi men. I wish yaj. Wo.
Fumuna mati.
Aida haida wo.
Amuka tama fo.
Ba ngeba to jan. Ni aje mota la muso tula kom. Abu amandule. Kabirana da ko kiri ndenga kani ko mallata hijana. Nga be ke jenda la buko. Wo ka dolo men dola.
Bari nga wele ko ila interest le buje kodo e lafta wala. Faman kodo dila.
Na interest je sign. Muna na kabirita fana mo ka adolo manya pingali muta.
Ba andu.
Almanya pingali abuta. Atata mula ngedu ni nyunguzi ba.
Ndo lafta la. Hani atara aga mune kan lafta la.
Ni lafta la stage. Stage. Terema, are you okay? Ha, ngambori janne de. Ni hay bulot len sa atala.
Ite keto. Yele muso yo filije ite solo mute dun takolot. Nyinji ba aminanta
time photo kon de nganda lola ko.
Ite ngai ite nganda lola nti.
Ani 50 le be caring. 50 la ida wa. But hey, kending hey.
Yo,
Mbata we are tired.
Mbatu.
Ne.
Ntenten. Kodo tambinya to baydiam.
Ndanga tambinya to fonyu no mune. Foni melare mbungo na tabuke la nyaat. Nda tambila jani. Hey, pusi nyaat am.
Hey, mbatu.
Terema. Pusi nyaat amwe. Hani nda tambila de. Nda tambila. Alfa na mejal atina mon la mo bulu bang. Mbata tane.
Yala nde la fa munna musodo ngabe je dole kile isu diata fulanya fana
hey fulanya fana ne kuma foja mbe masi bobo ele kanede fami rek atale ko ngabori la ne na muso neng ni ngabu tembe fa ata ila muso la mu
awa alfara soni foja jura
la uzele wallahi atalen
baby no fault baby no fault.
Ite kama nyaji la tena.
Hey. Ite super chofo sile. Ite mutindi nyimaldi de. Anu lafta muna je wafana mbeje. Nyendi ni wa.
Ba muna da mun da mai kane fambarama.
Wala yala ngala ne ko.
Ite ko inde di momin sai ite ke boru wa.
Ngala ne. Ela ma ngala na to lawulu. Gado fama alhamdulillah balo bama fana mbe wanyama dingo fana nyanda kala multiple lati
ni atere ko yankan le nyanda kanyul hormala ye bunya ye dia mu nyalo yalo nyanda min fon foy malon koy bitan nan nyulti baral nasi len nan nasi
Nga. Yala niye musozera. Nte discipline dale. Nte kuluta tuwabu dule discipline dale. Ni man reservari konye si nte sila.
Yo sa NC.
Ngasi.
Asi.
Sobe so ngasi.
Si dorong. Ba fete mo ka kyol je melen ko ka sila musol bal.
Ari ya nte mu.
Ba. Itu wasi design san ka ton telefta nyina lako. Ba.
Aleba.
Babe la moy la nal fote la moy la ngam rete len diala ka
Nyemu family problem la design. Maybe ya wala ko ngalo na jumala na musode. Na muso. Agara nyanga nyama. Ntebe tubabu dule. Ngamala ngata suwakono. Ngaji bembe munkeno la. Kadi la nyim babil nyunu badada konkole be nyunu la. Fuare yale balla konkole. Konkotal. Okay. Corona le bembulun ko memen dila bar bayri konkotal alatu.
Ha.
Era vadola.
Ani abulaje.
Wai ndia.
Akala ta sokon.
Bayala men jaga atuli nyon di nyimawulu nyadi.
Billahi. Hey, ninga masi fondo mbe mulun. Abodan delande. Aboda wala na mulun jada bude.
Alajo. Ya ali.
Ha ta drong ite ta drong.
Ta.
Ani mansula ta drong.
Adin tela.
So
Mariam.
Même fo borna tubabu daka aga haftan ku roni ko so dum. Nda malo borna ndamen. Ya mera nyimantara nun kasa masi. Ndia de bawo ko you are interested.
Ina manage jala manage.
Carry your own load.
Yo sa taminya no ta. Ngoto. Ibe min na bula.
Munay.
Ngante ko yete yan konkote ndole ko konkole beten. Konkole beten. Ko nyum konko wala du nyum ko. Mata bi ko ba na sile be ko do mutala nyimbulo ko.
Ya, tera mambe ko kono de.
Tera ko afule ko kula ko de silante da bota ji.
Manta makabare mbe safani mo.
Ala ko doju. Ay ko do min dilaju.
Ani gonda fen jono. Ay mendi na muri mo.
Yo sila boro.
Foni nene boja ma ko ajo.
Ah ni nene diamo. Nte data jere nte katale silang ina manage.
Na manage. Tera manim fade il faut que wala de. Nim fade il faut que nyima bala fanan na de. Ngal nanga mem. Bismillah. Habitat. Adol fanan be fudo si dal ma nyapi ngale mut. Ya. Hey, albu ndal yele. Alhamdulillah. Aku aja keluar. Tera makal na esi ke bala. Ndanga boro menke jate nyanta balo nyabulal de. Ya, ibu ka foko mbaru nga bambu lota. Yem balo nyab. Barang kon dangi na lagol. Ndala nyane defon balo nyabul.
Mona gade yo fo.
Kum ka dum bele torata ja.
Abula tel tolan to mo bori ba.
Ndanga mbori de bori ngam bori ye bori.
Andi fay fele te ente dunga kono. Ndami an ko man ko di do mo je man fendo mo.
Kabiri mbake la man mutale.
Juba e mutale ke baba kan tele be ta mutal.
Bismillah be tata.
Yo. Bari te abre muso man ke fen. Muso man nyana fenkel. Ko ku ite itan lota be.
Juba.
Ko ku ite ko be lola de telen kewt. Banta muso nto man fen so nyanta min kala nyi korda kon.
Tera mamuna kakali dia mun de kanteng. Kakali dia mun de kanteng.
Ite du ko ya kunna silang.
Ani ya do man ni. Iben ki jote la way. Ni fana batata. Mbele batata. Na ibata nyaaw na nyaato. Na nyaato. Ite mu dawo kunnan ko datol fatiata na lo ne. Ya? Mungkin non.
Batatale. Baba le dund nyimbe ko bar nyimu mo ken dol. Ndanga mu nege fontele ko ke nyini ni ndanga fo ke nyini nyako.
Si yal kana pisali al fanan.
Akada asiten ikera kamola nakano.
Ay la kawol ba na tabe sila je ni faale budun te fa.
Ay na kawol soso.
Ko mata sila.
Okay.
Alsi. Yo, me ante si jankara. Oh, surprisingly, nga maka hijo ticket o
Allahu Akbar.
kuntrali alsalo wanya.
La ilaha illallah. Arko mi da hijola. Hande. Tera mami da hijola. Mfama hiji. Mbama hiji.
Kana pisali. Amanna dango da mala. Bari. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.
Muna kana uga dawala.
Muso. Abarka ngalon ko. Nyimbe kumala bake nyimwila sila fandoldi. Ha, ifananse wota. Ye fam man mina fam.
Terem. Fengo dol bi jeni adi le ka fula di nkoto la folon. Je, sain. Terem, ngame defo ma la fini nyum fudwal. Ngame ma la fini fudwal.
Sila lafitan mfana lafitan
Ngata adu. Ha.
Yo hin.
Ha. Wana.
We afuno. Ngoto. Nakuwa ko nyato silande. Mesantola de.
Ni mam bondala. Ni mam nda mu de ke mari android ndela. Ye iPhone odi le ma fa di nkoto la. E ka foko na. Abedanta. Sa membe je wala muko. Dunia beten. Ndefele ndi njuru da ticha la jang. Nko ticha la jobu ka siya ngako mo si fa befu. Ala nata bitandi na me alonga e mbori ndi janna be na kende ala. Membe je nyin karang mu menti wala muko. Ni woni kar de futula kari mu jongolti, kari mu forolti, kari mu tenniti abe mu nyinati. Dunia ni ala ko moni mobe futula mobe ka kuno jed. Hani mun kete be futula le. Woto mbal tentula mbal jayila bake ala baraka bake ala baraka. Allah bar ala baraka.
Hello? Oh, yeah. Thank you for a funny performance.
Now we have Adama Kanye, and she's gonna have a speech for us. So give her a round of applause. Nej, bara snacka.
Seriöst?
Ska vi stå här?
Ja.
Ska vi stå med dig?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. As we come to the end of this powerful and inspiring day, it's truly an honor for me to give the vote of thanks on behalf of the IAC Norway Youth Seminar 2025. First, I want to express our deepest gratitude to all the amazing speakers and performers who have shared their wisdom, courage, and creativity with us. To Her Excellency Mai Babikir, she has left, but thank you for your opening words and for standing with us in solidarity. And to Bakausu Sila, your message reminded us of the urgency of action and the strength that lies within us. To Aki, who also has left, but thank you for lifting up the voices of youth and resistance. And you showed us that change always begins with speaking the truth. And to Mols and Team Kitabu, your performances touched us deeply and brought warmth, energy, and laughter. To Mariama Jobate, thank you for your powerful message. It really made all of the youths think and reflect upon the topic. And a very special thank you goes to our beautiful, wonderful hosts, Sire and B. You guided us through the day with such warm energy and fun. And to Oslo Kommune and Velferdsstaten, and to Nene on Mamos Media Foundation through the generous sponsorship of Yusufa Kamara. And thank you for your strong support and for believing in the power of youth-led dialogue and cultural exchange. And finally, thank you to everyone here. And thank you for your presence, your questions, your reflections, and your energy that have made this day truly special. And let's keep connecting, collaborating, and create change together. Thank you. Yeah.
We have now reached the final part of of our seminar today. Networking and pizza. Let's connect, reflect, and continue. To Oslo kommune, a huge thank you to Oslo kommune and velferdsstaten for their support.
Thank you for all being a part of this journey. Let's keep the fire burning beyond today. Together we act, together we change. Thank you.
Ja, for å skru av mikrofonen først.
Yo Alimbara, the movie Tentula, the movie Jaila. The movie Tentula, the movie Jaila. Allah para wa ñiñata alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Kontanta bake. Katun Gambia ntolle mo kilingolti. Nsafo mo fin dube Afrika be ntol bele mo sifa kilingolti. Nga ala tentu wala ben doma konton na ben broda konton na me alan ko you know na be botana Gambia le kanana janka ma be nyina wokata kuti mi alan ko kontan bata definitely iba pus kanne chakanam ya ben sister fana konton na me kata Mariamati ma fala ko baraka baka jobate mo kende you know ni wabata je ko tan ma fala mo be ko this is Team Kitabu the comedian na YouTube channel obi jele Team Kitabu the comedian also subscribe kule mi alon ko abeti abata aben sambala nyato anu fana ka femu jama portrait albaji la wolto mo mis media fana biye mi alon ko munu be Gambia wala munu be dunia karo bela abu beti abala pour aller subscribe je alke follow on Facebook ani dawada mi alon ko media bu dalem so wakata kuti mi alon ko akonta no warta bakke so kontanta baake be tubabu du be tentula be jeyla kabri ngani to start kabo France kada ko Sweden satel be fo futata na jambi bi na last performance ni throughout the tour ni ngobata jedron atamila baake den be mulla back to Gambia nga wis by next year fana ngana ngama be jinna Allah duwal jabita alama albina duwal kala wol fana jabi so mba fulale musol Allah pare o beti ana Allah pare o ñiñata dindigol suku dindigol fana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin ngal tentu bake ngal jey Team Kitabu be mba fulale ala baraka bake mu bebe ñi gol ko ma mba fulale ala baraka bake nene bo jam fana mba tentu la mba jey la alila ka fo mi alon ko alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin AAC ka fo mi alon ko tonya abe do ko men mo be ya jele so mbal tentu la mba jey la fa atondi Fantanga kabo mbe ta tentu la mba jey la mba fulale ko ñine woti wala ñinti so ala baraka bake thank you so very much.
Lastly, we would like to ask if anyone would like to ask any questions or something. Can you hear me now? Lastly, we would ask if anyone would like to ask questions or say something.
Does anybody have a question of the topic or?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We need more seats next time.
Thank you. Tack Jibril, väldigt bra. Tusen tack.
Vad ska jag säga? Jag kan nog se det.
Does anybody have a question? About the topic?
Yes.
Could everybody please be quiet, especially the people in the back?
Yes, I feel like the subjects that was talked about today.
Please, can people first be quiet before she asks her question?
Yes, I feel like the topics that was brought up today was very important, and I feel like it's something more that we need to talk about as a community.
Hello, hello. Yo. Mba fola mande ka kaunta mina fola no jang kaunta fananto. Soma roundas wala be kela. Roundas. Dindo mol men bata Gambia wala yalo na mona roundas. Dindi wal nin kebalu soma roundas an kebal fanan damal ba kelale. So mo mina dorom ye prepare ambe yalo na roundas ka play nyame Gambia. Ye prepare so lebe dunna butumo. Ay si lebe dunna de. So I cannot form ko. Hi allesammans. Det jag vill säga det är imorgon. Ja, imorgon så ska vi spela roundas. De som är från Gambia, de vet. Jag tror de kallar i Norge för slåball. Så imorgon vi ska spela slåball i Ekeberg. Så när du kommer kläda gott äta vara och kläda sportligt. För idag ska vi spela barn mot vuxna och så ska vuxna också spela mot varandra. Så imorgon är dagen. Stede are Ekeberg imorgon. Ekeberg. Ja, vi ska vara på Ekeberg. Slåball. Och fotboll. Vi ska spela fotboll också. Ekeberg parken. Klockan 3 precis.
Du kan ta buss till Ekebergsgatan, buss 34. Eller 74. Eller kan ta buss 34 eller buss 74 till Ekebergparken. Ja, det blir masse grillmat, god stemning, og det blir gøy.
Mona will snack it.
alle sammen for en fin samling. Så jeg vil bare si tusen takk til alle sammen for en fin samling. Og I morgen da får dere bare sant? Det blir grill og masse festspill og sånn. Så alle som er velkommen til å bli der. Akkurat nå så blir det mat snart til alle sammen. Så tusen takk for I dag, og det var hyggelig å se dere.
Tusen takk. Så vi venter bare på pizza. Er det noen andre som